I think when we make a card with a unique shape, it is just so much more interesting and fun than a plain rectangle or square, right? Hello, I am Karen Heshik of Karen's Creative Cards, and in this video for both my YouTube channel and Crealies, I'm going to share several cards made with the new double hexagon card die set with 2 layers from Crealies, as well as others from the newest release. Here's the first hexagon card I made with this die set, with the new double hexagon dies and then the frame and inline hexagon Arda. So for each shaped die set they have, they come out with frame and inlay dies that fit in there, and you can play around with all sorts of stitched layers. So this is the card that I created. I raised the outer hexagon frame, and then I inlaid the hexagon pattern pieces cut out with a pretty foil designer paper. I also cut the small fantasy flower out twice and offset them and put them on the side here and attached it with a pretty gem. Now remember, all the dies you see on my cards are available both on the Crealies website and at the Frantic Stamper website in the United States. Now whenever I get a new shaped card die from Crealies, I try to find fun and different ways to make cards with them. Let's try to make a trifold version of a hexagon card. Now there are 2 new sets of frame and inlay hexagon dies that match this double hexagon card die set. And in this one I'm going to feature the hexagon Barbara die set. I have cut 2 of the main pieces here. This is the main piece out of thinner white cardstock. You can use thicker, but because I'm doubling them up, I'm going to use a slightly thinner. Now notice that this die set also has 2 layers that are regular and an extra stitched layer. So lots of options with this die set. And of course this one has all sorts of stitched beauty that you can use in many different ways. So I have cut 2 out of white, and of course the center line is scored. And I'm going to put 2 together to make a trifold card. Now the front side I want to fold it back, so I am going to score right down that center of the front. And I'm going to fold this back. And then I'm going to put these 2 together. So I am going to use liquid glue to do that. And we will line these up. Get that pressed down. So the card is going to fold like that. Now the front, the idea that I have for that is I am going to place this Barbara hexagon frame here on this card front, and of course just glue on this side. So I want this centered, and press that down so it sets up. And I have cut out a second one of these, and the plan is to lay it here lined up with this one. So I'm just going to do a couple light pencil marks just to help with that. Though mostly it'll just be trying to line it up with the front one. So again, some liquid glue so then I have a little time to move it around. And I will use those tick marks and also this to get them lined up. That looks pretty good. And I can erase these marks. There's a little piece of something left. I'll use my... Good. Alright, so the plan is to use the rest of these pieces. I cut some pretty designer paper out, and I am going to inlay these into the openings on this center one. Now you can choose to have stitching and a little bit smaller pieces too, and I'm going to do that on the inside of the card, but on this one I decided to use the full piece of the designer paper in the Barbara Hexagon frames. Whoop. Put that one back. There's the upper one, I think. Yeah. So that is going to be the view through that one. I am going to put a flower on here. I think I'll use a large glue dot to do that. And then I die cut a couple small branches that I thought would be pretty coming out from the top and bottom of that. So I'll add some glue. And of course all these dies are from Crealies, and there will be a list in the description box of which ones were used, and on the blog, of course. So the front of our card is mostly done. Now on the inside, I have cut a purple stitched hexagon that's going to go in the center there, and that will be to write a message on. And then I cut a third one of the purple hexagon pieces, and I've put it on a darker teal, and started putting some sentiments there. So that one's going to go on here. I cut out the stitched layer. So in this Barbara set, there are a stitched layer that can go inside that's slightly smaller, so we'll see the outside edge as well. And then I used some of Crealies Texto Negativo dies for this, and those are really, really versatile little dies. It's going to say just for you, and you can cut it out directly out of the cardstock as I did here, so the darker shows through. Or there are two rectangle dies that you can cut out, rectangles and then a different color underneath. So they're really, really versatile, fun dies to have in your stash. And I am saying just for you with love, using this cool stitched hexagon Barbara die set. So we can see the pretty stitching in both the purple and the lighter aqua blue with the darker teal showing through. So just for you with love. And then I cut one more of those pretty flowers and layered it, and I thought I would put it in the white space here on the center of the card. And I have a couple gems I can use. And our Hexagon tri-layer card is done. The front is very pretty with the hexagon frame and the pretty flowers, and then you see through this to the next layer, which has another hexagon with the stitching and the pretty floral paper, and then it opens up and we have Just for You with Love and a place in the center to sign it and another flower. I love how these hexagon cards turned out, and I hope my cards inspire you to give some of the ideas and products a try and then send some of your handmade joy out into this world.